Hello and welcome back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Justin Stoddart. Have with me today in studio, Stephanie Peck. For those that are in the Portland area, she is a rising star and for good reason. Both, I would say, in her business as well as at home. I don't know if you're a rising star at home. You've probably always been a star at home.
I'm always improving.
So if you remember, Stephanie joined me several months ago. It's probably been, I guess it was kind of early summer, to talk about this difficult balance between being a successful realtor while still being a successful mom. And that episode reached a lot of people, and I got a lot of feedback that people really appreciated it. So I've invited Stephanie to come back to talk about, now that we are out of the summer months into the fall, how do you recoup? How do you get back on track after a busy summer?
Yeah.
So there's lots to talk about in this topic. I will start with this, reminding people with the purpose of this show is to put you in contact with big thinkers like Stephanie. Because what happens is when we get to surround ourselves with people that are doing great things, not just to create success, but also to create significance, it has an impact upon us. We start to think bigger, we start to think differently, and then we start to do differently. And then we start to have different results, and then we can have a greater impact. And you and I both share that we have a big passion to be very impactful, both in our own homes, as well as in the world at large.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much that we can do with the gifts that we've been given. I'm excited to share that always too.
Yes. So thank you again for coming on. She's a natural at this. I actually told her last time, I was like, you need to be a news broadcaster.
Yeah.
But I think her real estate business is doing just fine. I don't foresee that in the near future. So
I guess I have the gift of talking, so use it wherever I can.
That helps in real estate as well.
Yeah.
So let's dive into this, Stephanie. We obviously are coming off a busy summer. You and I both have very active families, right? That are going and doing things and having fun and enjoying the summer months. And now we're back to a routine. We're back to a schedule.
Thank you.
It feels kind of good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I love summer. I enjoy it. I mean, summer in the Pacific Northwest is amazing. Yeah. But yeah, it's so nice to be back into the routine. We got the most out of our summer for sure, which is also a big part of why it's time to regroup.
Yeah. We've wrung summer months out, right? As much as we can.
Yeah.
And now it's time to get back into it. For those that are in real estate, you are very aware that by the time these clients that you're working with or the prospects that you're working with close, you may very well not see some of this business until 2020, right? And with 2020 being, I think, an amazing year just because of the symbolism of 2020, right? Perfect vision, like clarity, like it's a new year to really begin and do some amazing things. But that doesn't start January 1.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you want a good 2020, now's the time to be putting in the effort. Now's
the time to be getting back on track this fall so that your Q1 through Q4 of next year are dialed and rolling. So with that being said, I know that you've prepared a few things, 5 steps to help us, Stephanie. What would you say would be step number 1 for all of us to be able to get back on track this fall?
Yeah. So step number 1 is, no better way to say it, but forgive yourself. Honestly, I'm pretty straightforward. Get over it, I guess is the blunt way to say it. I know for me, because summer was a whirlwind. I was just focusing on having an awesome time with my kids and having an awesome time outdoors and all the fun and still keeping up with business. But for me, what I had to do in order to do that was to say, these are the activities that I'm going to put to the side temporarily. And the temporarily is the important part. And just focus on the business activities that are most important right now. But whatever reason you had to get derailed, whether it was just having too much fun over the summer, or maybe there was a baby in the family or a health issue or whatever. There are a million reasons that get us distracted. But when it's time to come back and to regroup, you've got to say, okay, maybe I had a couple of failures. Maybe I had a couple of things that I was lacking in. I'm going to just get over that and move on. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. And I'm not going to keep dwelling on woe is me, or I wish I would have, or any of that. Just time to move on.
I love that you said that, Stephanie, because again, we're talking about the topic of getting back on track this fall after a busy, maybe distracted summer. But those aren't the only things that keep us, right? That keep us from doing the activities we should be doing. Sometimes, like you said, it's a family illness, a family situation, a wedding, right? All kinds of things happen. So these principles are going to apply not just to this fall, but anytime you feel like you're off track in your business.
Right.
I actually want to bring up a point that I shared with you earlier. Barbara Corcoran, who's Shark Tank, like the queen of Shark Tank, right? And the queen of real estate in New York City, said that she would take somebody who's wildly consistent and persistent over somebody who's wildly talented. Mm-hmm. What she realizes is that success comes down to those people that have time on task over time. That's actually a Gary Keller quote. Time on task over time produces the best results. And if you're somebody that falls off the horse, has a crazy summer, and then can't get back on because you can't forgive yourself, just the time delay and not doing the right activities is going to be detrimental to your business, more so than maybe not having, some of the innate talents that maybe others have. So keep that in mind. I love that you said that. It's spot on. Is it forgive yourself and move on, get up, get going,
just
right?
Move on. Yeah, just do it.
Step number 2, let's talk about that. What would you say once you've forgiven yourself and you're like, okay, what's done is done. It's time to move on. What would you say step number 2 would be?
Probably just revisiting what were my goals,
Okay.
what were my goals for the year? What are my goals for my business?
Love it.
And what are my goals for my life and my family too? Because that all still has to fit in. So revisit what's most important to you. What are the things that you set out to do this year or this season? And really write those down and tell yourself again, what are my reasons why? Not only my goals, but why did I set these goals for myself and why did I want to meet these goals? Maybe there's a financial goal that you have, or you're supporting a great charity and you see the consequences of not meeting those goals is these people I'm trying to help aren't going to get the help that they need, or maybe my bills aren't going to be paid. I mean, that's a pretty good motivator to just get off your butt and just do it. Yeah. Just so revisit what were the things that I wanted to accomplish and why did I want to accomplish them?
I love that. So right here in front of me on my computer that only Stephanie can see is a reminder of a cause that I'm deeply committed to, right? Which is Operation Underground Railroad. If you don't know what that is, we can talk about it later. But it's a cause knowing that if I'm not living up to my potential, there are other people, even beyond my family, that are in a terrible spot that I could have the ability to influence. And so I love that it's not just revisit the goal of, I wanted to close X number of transactions or help this number of families.
Right.
But even beyond that, of being able to say, what's the cost of the cost, right? My coach talks about that with me of like, okay, so you don't reach the goal. What are the repercussions? What do you not get to do? And who else suffers because you didn't hit those goals? And I think that's what I hear you say it is you've got to actually deeply emotionally connect with the goal, right?
Yeah.
Not just be like, I decided to help that many families. But what happens if I don't?
Right. Yeah, because there's a consequence to every one of our actions or reactions. So, negative or positive consequence. It's always, there's going to be something that happened because of something that I did or didn't do. And so what is the result that you were focusing on? You set those goals in the beginning of the year, hopefully. And when you did, you had a reason to say that. You didn't just say, because I wanted to, because I did this many last year, so I wanted to do 5 more this year. Well, why? Why did you want to do that? Because once you identify your purpose, then you're more motivated again.
Yeah. It's not deeply inspiring just to not hit a number, right? What does that mean to the families that you could have served that maybe ended up with a not so good real estate agent that doesn't care about their people like you care about them?
Yeah.
It can even extend beyond you to the people that you serve. So I would encourage you to think about that. I think it's brilliant. So again, step number 1 is forgive yourself. Step number 2 is revisit your goals and why those goals matter. What's the cost of the cost? So step number 3, let's move along. Stephanie, what would you say step number 3 would be in getting back on track this fall?
So then at that point you've said, okay, these were the goals that I made. And how do I get back to that? Where did I lack? Okay. When I was distracted or when I was busy or when I was caring for a ill family member, whatever it was, where was I lacking? And I'm saying this because this is the process that I'm going through right now. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to meet with Justin later today, because I can say that, I decided this is what was important to me this summer, and now it's time to regroup that. So I can say, what did I not do that I should have been doing? Because I know what I should have been doing all the time. And what was I not doing? Maybe I wasn't contacting my database enough, or wasn't posting on social media as much as I thought that I should have, or whatever it is. I mean, everyone is going to have their own individual identification of that, because we all set it up in the beginning of the year to say, these are the activities that I need to do. Now we need to reflect, what did I not do? And, just really be honest with yourself about that.
I love it. Goals are goals, but they don't actually turn into anything unless you do the activities that produce the results, right? That don't, that actually move you towards the goals. And so what I hear you saying is identify what those activities are, and what are the ones that I know I need to be doing that I didn't do.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I love it. So that's point number 3. Let's go to point number 4. What would you say point number 4 is in getting back on track?
Okay. So you've written down, these were the holes that I needed to fill that I maybe didn't. So now it's time to make a plan for that. Okay. I didn't contact my database enough this summer because I was just so focused on the day-to-day activities. And then when I wasn't doing the day-to-day activities, I was out having fun. All right, fine. I mean, it is what it is. But now it's time to say, what am I going to do to make sure I do those things? And I mean, this is across the board. This isn't just real estate. This is business. This is life. This is everything. I mean, I was using the example of eating healthy. I mean, I can say, well, all I need to do is go to the grocery store and buy more fruits and vegetables and actually eat them. That's how I'm going to eat healthy. But at the end of the day, I'm not doing that. I ate summer food.
Cookies taste so much better.
Yeah. So, it's time to say, what's my plan going to be? How many people am I going to call every day? Where did I lack? And what am I going to actually do to put the actions into place and do it?
I love it. Yeah, because in point number 3, I identified, okay, what are the activities? But oftentimes it's like, what's my plan? How's my life going to change to where I start doing the activities?
Yeah.
Right. And you pointed out some accountability, right? It's not just enough to like grit and willpower and determination. I'm going to do it. Right. Most of us are too weak to do that on a consistent basis, over different facets of our lives.
Right.
We need some sort of accountability. In fact, earlier this week, I interviewed somebody on the topic of health, and I was impressed with the accountability systems that are in place, whatever that looks like for you in business, right? And in things personal, right?
Yeah, just everything in life.
Yeah, having that accountability, that system, that plan in place, which includes those different facets of accountability. And I appreciate you saying kind of my role, the thing that I love to do and what fires me up every day is, what you guys see often is this broadcast, right? The part that you don't see is me sitting knee to knee with great agents like Stephanie to say, where are you at? Where do you want to be? What's your plan? What are the breakdowns? And how can I either add new people and new ideas and new systems to help you get that, to be sure you get that. I think surrounding yourself with people that can help with that process for all, I think that's a great step. Appreciate you saying that.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk all day about we all know the importance of time blocking and, these are simple steps. So maybe sometimes it's just as easy as going back to the baby steps or going back to what we already know, but actually doing it. It's just like the eating healthy. I know that if I ate a salad instead of Chick-fil-A, I know that that's going to be the healthier choice for me, but it's actually doing it. And so you need to put those systems in place. You need to say, okay, going back to the example of summer, I mean, summertime, if you have kids at home, the schedule is derailed. So, maybe you're waking up and you're planning some fun activities instead of waking up and starting your day. So now that it's fall and we're back into the routine, it's waking up and treating it like a work day every day. I mean, for me, if you're a mom like me, you're dropping those kids off at school and you're coming to your office or you're coming to your home office and you're clocking in to work. It's work time. I mean, as much as I wanted to drop the kids off at school and go to a kickboxing class and do some shopping and maybe catch up on some shows, it's time to get back to work. So how are you going to do that? You need to be meeting with your team leader, your principal broker, your office manager, or favorite title rep, or whoever it is that's going to help you put those systems in place and actually stick to it.
Yeah, such profound wisdom there. I don't know that I can add anything else, so I'm not going to. We're going to move on to step number 5, which is do it. Tell us about what that looks like.
Just do it. What does it look like? I mean, that's the step that I'm in right now is, I am to the point where, okay, I'm going to stop the analysis paralysis. I'm going to stop the excuses. I'm going to stop I just want some me time. I've been busy with the kids all summer. Now I just want to relax. It's time to put all of that aside and be looking at my goal on a regular basis and my why. Why did I set these goals? I've got some big things planned for my life and for my business, and I want those things, and I'm not going to let these distractions stop me anymore. So just that mentality is setting that mind that this is what I want and this is what I'm going to go after.
You know, I actually just showed Stephanie prior to this. For those of you that haven't seen it, you can search on YouTube. In fact, I'll put a link to it in the comments. Yeah, but it's Art Williams with his famous speech called "Just Do It," and it's an amazing reminder that there's a lot of people, and we're all guilty of it to some degree, of talking about what we're going to do. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm gonna. Mm-hmm. And his response is, just do it, then do it. And he does it in a great like Southern accent that's hard for me to replicate, but it's a classic.
Yeah, but it's good. Oh, I like that your wife's.
I know my wife's. Hello, sweetheart, and she's saying
me time is a legit excuse. Every mom is relating to that, right? So you know what? I'll admit I gave myself a little bit of that. First week of the kids back to school, it was a 3-day week for them. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be the day that I'm going to catch up around the house. I'm going to get a few things done that I've been wanting to do so that I can stop all the excuses next week. I gave myself no reason for any more excuses. The house is caught up. I went shopping. I got the clothes that I wanted, blah, blah, blah. But I just eliminated all of those excuses, and I'm done with them, and I'm ready to just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. One kind of final reminder on that is that if our goals don't make it to our calendars, then they're not really goals. And I would say, looking at your calendar in reverse, if you were to go back and audit, what did I do last week? Do the activities that I do actually tell myself and other people that these goals actually matter to me? Because that's the only way it's actually going to happen. You can say that they are. You can have vision boards and goals written everywhere and be talking about it. But unless historically you can go back and look and say, no, I actually did the activities this week, then I don't believe you. I don't believe myself. I don't believe anybody whose actions don't actually follow that. So go back and look at the past week. So do I really want to get back on track? Or am I really still wanting to stay in summer mode through the fall? Yeah. Because real estate slows down during the fall and no one really sells homes. Doesn't have to.
No. Right? No, I'm not slow right now at all. And I don't plan to be for the rest of the year. And I'm just revisiting, like we talked about, what you do now is what's setting yourself up for early next year. Yeah. And what I do today is what's going to get me into place for when that spring season hits. Mm-hmm. So, the nice thing about the business that we're in is they can all be fun activities. I'm not going to deprive myself because I'm just going to lock myself in an office all day long. That's not what sells real estate. Yeah. So if I want to say, oh, I just wanted to still have some fun, I'm having a hard time transitioning back into work mode, having lunch with some friends and some past clients. I mean, that's all fun stuff that we can do that are activities that are going to put ourselves in a good position for next year, early next year. And, I personally have not been a fan of time blocking, I guess, because I have a real ADD mind. I don't focus. I can't say I'm spending 2 hours doing this. I've just never been able to be good at that. But I also I have resonated with the concept of making an appointment with yourself or making an appointment for yourself. So however you need to word it and however you need to structure it, do it in a way that works for you. Time blocking it hasn't worked for me. And maybe I'm getting in my own way on that. But if I say, if I have an appointment to do a listing appointment with someone, you bet I'm going to be there and you bet I'm going to be prepared for it. So I need to make those same appointments for myself. And like you were saying, put it in your calendar. It doesn't actually exist until it's in your calendar.
I love it. So I'm going to wrap this up with the signature question of the show. You've heard Stephanie say this before, but I'm interested to hear her answer now. She's a big thinker. In fact, it's been interesting. Your head has been perfectly placed right in front of the TB, which stands for Think Bigger. You've kind of taken the place because you are the Think Bigger and the big thinker in the group. I said big head. I said big thinker. Okay. But what is somebody like you, Stephanie, who already does some great things both at home as well as in your business, in the community, just doing some great things. What do you do to continue to expand your own possibilities, to continue to be a big thinker? Teach us.
Yeah, so I think my answer has changed from last time. And right now, my biggest focus is to think bigger than I thought yesterday, or think bigger than I thought last year, and not comparing myself. I want to think bigger than this person or this high producer that maybe that's too intimidating for me. And I guess this has been my own personal journey, because I have realized that I don't want to think bigger than that person next to me. I want to think bigger than myself and what I did this time last year, or yesterday even, or whatever it was, because I can always grow one step farther than what I was the day before.
I love that. Healthy metrics, right?
Yeah.
Not looking at other people, which can oftentimes cause anxiety and depression, right? But inspired by other people, but really looking at, am I progressing? Am I moving forward, is what I hear you saying.
Right. Because comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to let that comparison steal my pride and my accomplishments, I guess is how I want to put it. Because I've accomplished some amazing things in the space that I want to be in. So, and I can always continue to grow in that.
Awesome. That's why, folks, she's a big thinker. That's why she's doing what she's doing, and why she's going to continue to be more and more successful as the years move on. So I'm very grateful to have you here. For willing to come back for round 2 in the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. Been a total pleasure. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. Please show Stephanie your appreciation for her time by liking, commenting, sharing this out. There's just some great wisdom here for all of us that want to get back on track, get up when we haven't been as good as we should have, and move forward to the next level. And with that, it's a perfect segue to my final request of everybody listening in today, which are 3 very simple words that are very meaningful to me, and hopefully they are to you as well, which are go think bigger. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you again, Stephanie, for being a part of this. And we will